Thank you for your time today. I hope what I show you gives you some hope for the future, because I really do believe that what we're doing with New Holland as well is going to give a lot of the new generation a bright future in farming. So nature takes biomass, puts it in an animal. When it goes to the animal, it picks up the microbes in the gut, and particularly in cattle. And those microbes then get transported into the slurry lagoon or store, where they would produce methane. And there's been a big debate about how much is produced, but I can confidently say now that we know, because we've captured it from a farm for a year, that it's roughly 300 kilos of methane per year per cow, dairy cow, collected slurry. So if it's in the shed for 6 months, it's 150 kilos on average per cow. That's the equivalent to 170 litres of petrol. So if you've got a herd of 100, that's 17,000 litres of petrol. Where Bennamann comes in, there's a little video, it takes a while, but it explains the whole story, so I won't say too much about it. But around about 2015, 16, we were introduced to New Holland, who were secretly developing the methane tractor. Their problem was they didn't have any methane. But what they did know was there was a lot of methane being produced on the farm. So we came up with a business model whereby we install the equipment and we manage the process of processing that methane. And we actually then sell it, if it's not being used by the farmer, to other customers for their trucks, generators and vehicles. And actually the really nice thing about this is that the money that subsidises this process is paid by the oil and gas industries. It's not a subsidy, it's an obligation. This is for renewable transport fuel obligation, which is live until 2033. So we've got another 10 years to get our ducks in a row. And now we've started the industrialisation process. So we've got 5 operational farms. One big retailer you'll hear about soon is putting it on their trial farm, and it's going to be going widespread from the southwest across the whole of the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, and eventually the rest of the world. I should say that we're now owned 50% owned by New Holland. This is a little video that's going to play, hopefully. Oops. This is a lagoon not far from Bennamann in Cornwall.
Yeah, well, that's probably
around about 150 cows feed into this lagoon. That's a boil of about 10 cubic metres of biogas has just gone up. That's around about 4 kilos of methane. That's in February, as I say. That's doing that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And no one's doing anything about it. So that was our goal, was to really go in and come up with a solution that works. Collecting that methane, if we get it right, is worth somewhere between 25,000 and 40,000 between ourselves and the farmer. And not only that, what we'll do is we'll actually reduce the carbon footprint of that farm by about just under 3,000 tonnes. What people didn't realise until recently, hence the Global Methane Pledge, is that methane over 20 years is responsible for about 40%, now 48% people believe, of all climate change. So the warming of the planet is dominated by methane. CO2 is a very slow process. The good news is that methane will be removed from the atmosphere in about 9 years. So if we stopped emitting tomorrow, the planets would start to recover very quickly. CO2 takes thousands of years to get out of the environment, so it's a very dangerous gas over a long time. So methane gives us this opportunity to heal the planet in the short term. We still have to remove CO2, but that's a longer term plan. What people have forgotten about methane is it's a powerful global warming gas, but it's also a fantastic fuel, unlike CO2, which is inert. So when we capture it, not only do we save the planet, but we got the opportunity to replace carbon fuel and actually make some money. Fortunately, there's now this Surrey infrastructure grant, so farmers can apply for it. There's another round coming out. It's primarily dedicated to cleaning up rivers, like the Wye here. I see it's pretty brown today from all the runoff. And this is excellent news. George Eustace is very supportive of this, and we hope that the new government, or his replacement, will be similarly supportive. The secret of what Bennamann's doing, I won't play this slide, but I'll play this little video. Hopefully it'll run.
At CNH Industrial, we are breaking new ground every day, searching for solutions that make agriculture more innovative, sustainable and productive for our customers. And we do this hand in hand with them. A farm's carbon footprint is a major factor in determining its sustainability, and environmentally conscious consumers are demanding sustainability throughout the entire supply chain. Farmers need powerful tractors that can run around the clock and are seeking lower emissions and predictable operating costs, free from fluctuating fuel prices. Natural gas, and especially biomethane, are the ideal solutions to solve this issue, now, both in terms of emissions and performance. And New Holland has been at the cutting edge of alternative fuels for over a decade.
Today, we are manufacturing and exporting methane tractors to countries all over the world from our Basildon Alternative Fuels Centre of Excellence. They are produced on the same production line as our standard diesel machines, and it's a sense of pride for us here in Basildon that we are helping to produce the future of agriculture.
CNH Industrial is leading a new era of agriculture, drawing on its history of innovation to deliver a more sustainable, productive and profitable future.
The new T7 methane-powered prototype tractor, powered by liquefied natural gas, will help our customers to be even more sustainable. It enables farms to be both energy independent and carbon neutral. In fact, if you make the biomethane from animal, crop or food waste, you can even achieve a negative carbon footprint. But what's quite so special about this T7 LNG is that it is within the same packaging as a standard tractor. It delivers the same power, same torque, and enough fuel for a good day's work. That's because by liquefying methane, you can store more in the same space than when it's compressed. The Bennamann multi-patented cryogenic tank technology enables maximum use of vehicle space.
The new T7 methane LNG also provides all the standard features of the new T7 range, with over 270 horsepower on tap, and it's equipped with the New Holland Advanced Precision Farming technology, like PLM Intelligence.
Here at CNH Industrial, we believe in strategic partnerships to deliver disruptive innovation.
Slurry is collected in a covered lagoon which captures fugitive methane. Over 20 years, the heating effect from methane is 86 times more harmful than CO2. The fugitive gas, which otherwise would have been lost, is collected and refined into biomethane, which is compressed and liquefied. The solution enables both fixed or mobile processing, so it works for all livestock farmers. This can then be used to power the farm's tractors, generating additional revenue for farmers. They can sell the excess biomethane as well as make their own 100% natural fertiliser. Plus, you can move the fuel to exactly where it's needed. It can directly refuel tractors and trucks and can also be converted into electricity, even in remote off-grid areas. And this enables charging of future electrified agricultural equipment, electric vehicles, as well as providing additional power to the farm.
The T7 LNG draws on the latest production T7 tractors, designed with our customers in mind.
We farm here at Trenance Farm down in Cornwall.
We've got 134 acres of grassland and we're currently milking about 110 Friesian cross dairy cows.
We've had the New Holland T7 LNG for 6 months now. It's the same physically as its diesel counterpart, so there's no downside to having a gas one. If you've got the fuel, you know, why not?
Environmentally, there is a lot of benefits. It's helped our soil health and our grass growth. There's quite a few other dairy farms in the area that are very similar to us, and you just think if we can make it work, anyone can make it work.
Okay, so this is Trenance Farm. This is our first farm in Cornwall, first dairy farm, milking about 120 cows. They have now been operating for about a year. We've been taking the methane from them, from the farm. They have now started using the methane tractor in earnest, and they have now this week got an electric powered generator which takes them completely off grid. I won't show this video, it's a lovely video, but it's probably a bit too long. Okay, how does it work? Basically, it's as Kev Hoare designed it himself. The channels inside the shed when the cows are in from the milking are scraped down into a common channel, and then they enter into the reception tank here. From that point, this control room of pumps and macerators takes the slurry, passes it into the lagoon where it's kept under a sealed store. One of the unique things about this solution is it removes all the smells as well, so there's no smell, there's no flies, all the pests are gone. That's one of the benefits we hadn't really appreciated. The gas, the dirty biogas, is taken out as it builds up and processed by a little gas filtration system in this container, and clean biogas, so that's still biogas at that point, is put back under the green cover. It's all monitored. Everything's monitored with level sensors and pressure sensors. And when the gas builds up to a certain amount, we'll then send mobile biocycle, goes up, turns up at the farm and converts all of that, about a week's worth of gas in a day, into compressed gas currently. 2 years from now, it'll be into liquid methane. So we've been running Trinant's farm for about 2 years now. And I say we've got a complete year of data. So we were predicting, based on the IPC calculations, that a single farm would save around about 1,600, reduce, and this is over an 80-year period, would be 2,800 tons of CO2 would be reduced. We've just had the first assessment from the farm, and this is over a 100-year period, so it's down by a factor, you have to divide everything by a factor of 3. In 2021, the farm's footprint was 734 tons of CO2, and that's equivalent to around about 2,300 tons over a 20-year period. In 2022, it's gone from 734 to 87. Okay, so we've reduced the carbon footprint of a dairy farm by nearly 90%. And that doesn't include the fossil fuel replacement for the tractor or the generator, which now starts. So once the generator's up and running, we'll be fully, they have been using some of the methane to power the farm, but not all of it. So what we're doing in Cornwall is we're building a cluster of farms, and in the next 12 months there will be tens of farms in Cornwall. We're now scaling up with New Holland and CNH Industrial's help to get this into the mainstream. We're working with Cornwall Council. Cornwall Council have now got 17 of these 7.5-ton daily trucks which go out every day repairing the roads. Each one of those trucks uses about 20 kilos of methane a day. It's got a range of about 250 miles. It's not like electric. Electric would probably just about get out of the yard, because it's towing a trailer that weighs about 1.5 tons, and it's usually got about a ton of tarmac in them. So by the end of next year, we expect there'll be something like 30 or 40 trucks running around in Cornwall. Our own fleet, we've got a tractor, and we've got 3 vehicles within our own fleet. So this is the scalable. This can go into any county in the UK. Everyone's got the same problem. Councils have got dairy farms, and dairy farmers have got emissions, and there's vehicles that go out fixing roads. So we believe we can scale this across the UK very quickly. Cornwall Council, as an example, they've got 58 dairy farms. 6 farms can fuel 60 vehicles. Just imagine that. 6 farms fuel 60 vehicles. Cormac have got 110 vehicles in their fleet, 350 of which are over 2.5 ton, and there is no alternative solution if you want to go zero carbon than methane. Electric simply doesn't cut it for these heavy vehicles. We've just built the world's first off-grid EV charger. It's at Brit European's headquarters in Crewe. It's been running for 6 months now. The staff there drive to work, charge their cars during the day and go home, all on methane that's been collected from Cornish farms. One of the things we need to do when we go onto a farm is do a very quick survey. We need to understand what the farmer needs. We need to understand what his slurry production is likely to be. So we do this thing called photogrammetry. We send a drone up. It spends about an hour taking pictures, and then it downloads all that data, and then we convert that data into a 3D model. So this is just a snapshot of the model. This is Trinary Farm. This is our second Cornwall Council farm. And that we can then go back to the farm and say, well, actually, you know what? We need to sort something about your roof, because we don't want that water going into your yard, because that's dirty water. That means your lagoon's going to have to be bigger. And we'll optimize the lagoon construction for the farm, and then we can give a price. So we've got a core offer of, at the moment, we can do concrete walled slurry stores, earth-bunded lagoons, and very shortly we'll be doing slurry towers. And after that, we'll be doing slatted floor tanks. So once we've collected the slurry, we get the gas, process it, it falls into the Bennamann world. This is a very early picture. It's actually out of date because we're just now in the process of launching the production intent version. We have to be able to store some gas. We have a very clever way of keeping the pressure on the gas store, which actually is a tile that sits on top of the lagoon. And we are able to do a Lego system where we literally put these things together, they zip together using a seal, so we can cover very large areas if required. We're now in the final stages of testing these. This is our own test lagoon at China Earth. I can say that this lagoon, which is 1,000 cubic meters, didn't exist a week before that picture. Okay, so we could go in, dig the hole, line it, cover it in just under a week, to give you an idea. So we've gone to a very simple system. These are completely removable, so they can be added or taken away as required. So, early adopter case study, Trinant's farm. How does it help the farm? Well, and I should say these captured 20,285 kilograms of automotive grade annually. Actually, unfortunately, since this number, this is a presentation I gave earlier in the year, they had TB and they had to kill 30 of their cows, unfortunately. So they're now building the herd back up. We're actually getting 15,500 kilograms this year. Stops 552 tons of CO2 getting into the atmosphere. It can power the complete fuel for the tractor, is roughly replace around about 11,000 litres of red diesel. It can also provide the electricity required for the dairy. And I should say the farm is absolutely really short of electricity. It's only got 15 kilowatt supply. So instead of taking an hour and a half to milk, it takes 3 hours because they can't milk and chill and heat the water at the same time. So we're now putting on a 50 kilowatt generator. That'll bring their milking time down to an hour and a half because they can do it simultaneously. You get all the free water that's captured on top of the lagoon. A really, really big opportunity for farmers is they're only spreading about 2/3 the amount of slurry that they're putting because they haven't got the rainwater in there. So that saves them 119 slurry runs. It saves, on Trineri Farm, that saved them £6,000 this year already. On Trinance, they removed the need for 55% of their chemical fertiliser. On Trineri, the second farm, it's 66% of their chemical fertiliser. Just the fertiliser saving and the slurry movements alone, without the need for a tractor, saved the farmer over £25,000 in costs that he would otherwise have incurred. So there are other benefits other than the energy. So what are the kind of things that the farmer also benefits from? Well, basically, he's got lower operating costs. Okay, so his profit margin is obviously going to increase. He's got he gets a share of the profit. So any extra methane that we capture, we sell on behalf of the farmer, and then we share that profit with him on a basis of pretty much 50-50 or 60-40, depending on who puts in the most investment. He's got energy independence. He no longer has to worry about the price of fuel going up. We give a fixed price of fuel that we sell back to him at a massive discount for 5 years. So he can plan ahead. He's not worried about the cost of diesel doubling up, and that protects him from volatility in the markets. Also, he overcomes his grid limitations. So he gets a generator. He's off grid, but he can get 50 kilowatts, 100 kilowatts when he needs it. So if he's running robots, for example, he uses a lot of electricity. In terms of the environmental benefits, well, a lot of the benefits have nothing to do with methane. Methane isn't actually classed yet by DEFRA as a polluting gas. It's all about emissions such as ammonia and NOx. And so you get that automatically by covering the lagoon, but you also capture the methane. So that's really important. We reduce the carbon intensity of the fertilizers, and what we're really seeing now is improved soil health. Trineri Farm rotates some of its pastures with an arable farmer next door, and the arable farmer, this is all anecdotally reported that the worm count has gone through the roof in that field, and that's primarily down to the digestate that we believe down to the digestate. The new lagoon cover will actually be able to store most of the rainwater that falls on it. So during the summer when it's dry, the farmer will have an almost unlimited amount of water that he can use. Obviously, pests. Important one is regulatory compliance. We take all of those concerns about meeting the requirements for the farmer. I should say this is 2 fields seeded at the same time. This is the field after a month, hadn't even really germinated. It's the same cover crop. This is a field with the digestate, okay? Both seeded on the 5th of November, and I think those pictures were taken around about the middle of January. So in terms of costs, I should say, talk to Grant because these have all been revised. They give you an idea. I'll leave that up there as we talk, but basically you've got saving on the fuel, you've got saving on the AdBlue, saving on electricity, RTFC share, the Renewable Transport Fuels obligation we claim, and then we share that with the farmer. Saving on the spreading. I should say on the slurry spreading, they're now using dribble bars and trailing shoes, and what the contractors are saying is that they can spread in half the time. Okay, so not only are they saving on the volume, they're spreading faster because what comes out of the lagoon is basically very runny water, a bit like baby bio, and it goes straight through all the tools that quite often clog up. So there's huge amounts of saving in the spreading as well as the volume. So looking for a saving from this particular instance, I think it's pronounced around about £35,000. And then there's a saving about fertiliser. We haven't fully characterised it yet, but we're hearing at least 50% saving on the artificial fertiliser. In terms of the payback, based on these numbers, you're looking at something around about 2.6 to 4 years is typical for most farms when we run the numbers. Thank you very much.